Hi, my name is Andy. I have to bend over if I want to be in the picture for you to look at me. And I wanted to give you some really quick tips to pick up your pool game, especially if you're a beginner. I see so many people making these common mistakes all the time. And if you fix them, whether you're a beginner or even a better player, it will immediately help improve your game. I'm not a great player myself yet. I am working on it. But these are things that I know that you should know. The first thing is about the bridge. I see a lot of people, and I don't want to be sexist, but particularly female players who have a bridge that is just wobbly. It sort of looks something like that, uh, or maybe something like this. The idea is you want that cue to go straight back and forth. Let me aim it at you there along one particular line. There shouldn't be any ability for it to move around. So the trick is make a little mountain between your, let me get my head out of the way, between your thumb and your knuckle. Point your knuckle in the air so that you have a valley that the cue fits into, and then plant your palm down on the table. And now the cue does not go left or right, it only goes forward and backwards. If you're trying to learn the covered bridge, then you're going to have to make sure that you're pulling that finger in enough that the cue can't move around in there. There's no wobble. It only goes forwards and backwards. That is critical because where you hit the cue ball determines whether or not you make the shot. And if you're not controlling where you're hitting the cue ball, there's not a lot of hope. So the very first thing, let me make a shot, an easy shot, is simply set up your bridge. Sorry if I'm not in there too much. I'll move it forward a bit. Okay. I'm going to use the easy, put my thumb against, put it right up for you there. See that valley? That valley is where the cue goes. Okay. And then just shoot. All right. You'll notice that the cue ball rolled forward. It would have scratched if I hadn't stopped it with my stick. When you shoot slowly, the cue starts to roll, and that roll continues after it hits the other ball. This is the beginning of playing position. So, especially if I hit the top of the cue ball, shoot the top of the cue ball, and that's called follow. Okay, and so you can play position. Let's say there's a ball here. The next shot you want to make is over there, or you can't see it there. You can play position by letting the cue roll a little bit to where you want it to stop. Okay? The next big mistake that players make is that they hold their cue at a downward angle of, maybe 20 degrees or 30 degrees. Their cue is pointing down. You notice the tip of my cue is near the table, but back here, where my hand is, let me move into the picture more, is way above the table. Well, just look at professionals playing pool, and you'll see that they don't stand like that. Those professionals get that cue stick to be as level as they possibly can. They want to shoot the shot looking like this. The cue is parallel to the table. Okay? When you bring up the back of the cue, you increase inaccuracy in your shots. So you want to be accurate whenever possible. Get that cue to be as level as possible. The third mistake a lot of people make, and particularly guys in this case, here's my sexist self again, is they love the sound of a ball smashing into a ball, making a lot of noise, and so everybody shoots too hard. Okay? You always see people going something like, the goal is to get the ball to roll into the pocket as softly as possible, still making the shot definitely go in. So it should really look more like, notice the level cue, like that. If you can get your bridge so that your cue only goes forward and backward in one line and can't move left or right, shoot softly and keep the cue level, you will pick up your game 1,000,000%. Now, another great thing to work on is, are you aiming where you think you're aiming? A lot of people think they're aiming. Let me get some chalk. A lot of people think they're aiming straight ahead, and so when they aim their shots, they think they're going to hit the spot they're aiming at, but they're really not. The best way to test your aim is to simply put the cue ball on the table, shoot perpendicular to the cushion in front of you, and if you're aiming correctly, that cue ball will come right back to the tip of your cue. Pretty much like that. Looks easy, but it's not. You think it's going to come back, but if you're off the teeniest little bit, it's going to come off to one side or the other. When you can do that the long way down the table, I'll sort of set it up over here so maybe you'll be able to see it, I don't know. When you can do that the length of the table, you're beginning to have a good, accurate stroke. Watch it, watch it, watch it. This doesn't always work, so let's just see how it goes. That's exactly what you want to have happen. It's more important to work on having that cue ball go where you think it's going than it is to worry about, where do I hit the ball? Do I hit it a little to the left? Do I hit it a little bit to the right? Aiming will come in time. But if you can't shoot where you think you're shooting, then you don't have any chance. So learn to shoot the cue ball where you think you're shooting the cue ball. Remember, if you shoot the top of the cue ball, or if the cue ball rolls any distance getting where it's going to follow. Okay, here's a follow shot. Intentionally going to go to the left of the pocket. Oh, went to the right of the pocket. There's my amateurness right there. Anyway, but the point is the cue ball followed. I got to the cushion. If I had another shot over there or over here, I'd be all set. All right, let me get my face in here, say bye, and I got to walk over and turn off the camera. Hope this helps you a little bit.